This is Comfy Cast 2, and what we're going to be talking about is some of the more obscure RTSs that we're a fan of. We're going to start at, what was your first one?
Well, first I want to mention Warrior Kings, which is a 2001 release, I believe. And it was kind of a medieval setting, but the important distinction with it versus any other RTS ever, you don't pick a race, but depending on what you build, you get a different tech tree. Like if you build a church, you become an Imperial. If you build a maypole, you become a pagan. If you build stuff and then a university, you become Renaissance. Although it wasn't very Renaissance at all. Anyway, it didn't do very well at all, but it has a campaign which splits depending on the path you pick, and it has a sequel which is essentially just a skirmish mode reboxed. But, you know, the company that makes it is dead, so don't feel bad about it.
As are all of our favorite games. I had a couple around that time as well. Hostile Waters, even more obscure, unless you bought a time computer in 2004, in which case you'll be all over that. It was an RTS slash, I guess, like mech game, because you could control any of the units that you possessed at any time from an FPS perspective. And this would give you, like, your own level of competence as opposed to your inherited units, which was, I feel, a great choice. And more than that, the resource system was gained by the scrap of how much of the map you controlled, which again I thought was a fantastic choice. It's really great. You should definitely check it out. But I have a lot to get through. Stronghold, really popular, not an obscure game, but worth mentioning. Good game, check it out.
It's more of a cross between a simulator and an RTS, which is what's cool about it. It has a bad sequel and a more recent Stronghold 3. I haven't looked into that.
Bad sequel.
Bad sequel was Crusader or something, where you were in the desert. But anyone who's played Stronghold may remember that you need grass for pretty much every form of food, and most desert maps would have no grass at all.
That,
So,
that, that was a design choice, and you don't get more food like
no, you'd have to
sand
hunt
or
camels or something, I guess. I never really got into it because of that one thing, honestly.
phenomenal. I had another one, Impossible Creatures. Sort of popular, but I get so good. All of your units are bioengineered creatures of your own design, based on the blueprints of animals that you've already tagged in the
So it's like
campaign.
Spore, but good.
It's like Spore with more limited options because you don't have a canvas. You have a bunch of parts that you can put together.
Right, right.
But whale elephants themselves are enough of a reason to check out this game. It's really good. It's well paced, storyline wise as well. It's not just a gimmick that wasn't presented well.
Right.
Definitely worth checking out.
Okay. One more to mention. Surprisingly, we're actually under on time, so we'll have a bit of spare to talk about nothing. Populus the Beginning, which was a sequel to Populus, which was essentially a precursor to SimCity, which is very odd, you'd think. But Populus the Beginning, you were a shaman in like
Like in
Neolithic
Transform
times.
Ice.
Kind of, except that you had cavemen, kind of, or tribal people, and basically you'd build a house, and if you put 5 people into the house, every now and again an extra person would pop out, and that was how you got more people. And also the houses would upgrade to become bigger and be able to store more people.
It
And
was
then,
an orgy fueled. Yes.
but more importantly, like if you wanted soldiers, you'd build a barracks, but then you send the people to the barracks to train to become soldiers, and there were other things like that to get all the units. And also, your shaman actually did stuff like, you know, magic, summon volcano, that sort of thing.
That sounds really good.
It is
That's
really cool.
exactly the sort of person management that we're experiencing right now in
Yeah.
Original War.
It is kind of. I don't think you could turn them back, and people were more expendable than Original War, but there was at least a little aspect of these are your people, try not to waste them.
Mm.
But that brings us to 10 seconds remaining.
It's always good to be comfy.
And, go watch all of our Original War videos. All of them.